It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Thursday, the 7th of September. I'm Michael Groff. Yesterday in the Valley, we just missed a record high by 2 degrees when we topped out at 109. Now today and through the weekend, we're going to start a cooling trend as clouds, moisture, and chances of showers and thunderstorms will be on the increase. Temperatures may actually fall below normal for this weekend. But then we see a drying trend by next week, and we have to start to wonder if that could be the end of the 2017 monsoon season. Plus, all eyes in the weather world are on Irma, and so we'll dedicate some of our time to talk about that as well. So let's get out there and look at it this morning at 8:30 a.m. We've got partly cloudy skies in the valley right now, 88 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 63, humidity 43%. The winds are light, and the barometer is steady. Temperatures across the area this morning, how about 71 at Fort McDowell? Most of us here in Metro Phoenix, low to middle 80s. Here's the water vapor satellite view, and this is pretty much a microcosm of how the pattern has been most of the summer. Big trough in the east, ridging out here in the west. It's a very high amplitude pattern. Hopefully that big trough will help to curve Irma to the north sooner rather than later. We'll talk about that more in a moment. On the watch warning map, we have fire danger and wildfire problems continue in much of the Pacific Northwest. Dense smoke advisories up there. That's even been affecting us down here in the Southwest states as we've had the very colorful sun and moon rises and sets the last several days, and those will continue with the bright oranges and reds. And that is the smoke that is filtering down here. The hazy skies that we've had have been a result of that as well. Meanwhile, hurricane warnings, the western Gulf of Mexico, and hurricane warnings in the Bahamas now. Hurricane watches and storm surge watches in South Florida, including Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Key West. On the convective outlook, a marginal risk of severe storms today in the Pacific Northwest. We are in the green, so we have a chance of thunder. We'll talk about that momentarily. And the tropics are about as active as they ever get. We have 3 hurricanes on the board right now. There's Katia in the southern Gulf of Mexico, the Southwest Gulf. We've got Jose out there in the central Atlantic Basin, and Irma. Now, Katia, not expected to affect the United States. It should drift southward. Jose will take a northwesterly jaunt. It will gain latitude, likely to not impact the United States. Then there's Irma. Here's the GOES 16 visible satellite view. What a monster of a storm. Already responsible for nearly a dozen deaths from Barbuda to St. Martin to Puerto Rico, and more, unfortunately, will likely be discovered in time. Catastrophic damage has been done to those locations. It is now battering the island of Hispaniola. It continues to churn to the west-northwest. Here's the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Maximum sustained winds have come down in quotes, to 175 miles per hour. Still a Category 5, still a very dangerous storm. Hurricane warnings, yes, they're in the Bahamas, the island of Hispaniola, and hurricane watches in South Florida. As we mentioned, there's the track moving a little bit further to the east from the National Hurricane Center, but boy, by no means should you take this lightly anywhere on the East Coast from Miami all the way up to Wilmington and Hilton Head, North Carolina. This is just a monster of a storm. Let's show you some of the modeling on this. Here's the tropical models, the cluster very tight there, right along or just off the Florida East Coast. And most of these models seem to generally follow the GFS. Speaking of, here's the GFS ensemble. There's 21 members here. The black line, the ensemble mean, just on the Florida East Coast or just off the coast. The latest deterministic run is a little bit further east from that, and we'll show you that here in just a second. Here's the European, 51 members, and again, most of these are clustered right over the Florida Peninsula. Unfortunately, this track is a little bit further west, but a few of the models do curve it sooner than that. And let's look at some of the deterministic runs, as we always do here. We'll check our weather in more detail as well when we do. Here's the GFS. This is the 06Z run, valid at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time today. The view across North America up there at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet up. And troughing beginning to set up along the west coast. Shortwave troughing. High pressure to the east. The flow aloft beginning to take a more southerly component today. Partly sunny skies. Slight chance of late afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms here in southern Arizona today. Those storms capable of producing blowing dust, strong gusty damaging winds, maybe a microburst, maybe some spots see some rain, but it's just a slight chance. We're going to say a 10% chance today and this evening. Highs today still warm, 103 to 107. Tonight, lows mainly upper 70s to mid 80s. Tomorrow, Moisture on the increase with that southerly flow, the GFS being rather aggressive at bringing in deeper moisture. So we'll say partly sunny skies and a 30% chance of late afternoon and evening showers and storms again. Highs tomorrow will be cooler with the added humidity and cloud cover, 100 to 103. Then on Saturday, we still have a chance of showers and thunderstorms around here. The GFS a little bit less aggressive now, but I'm still going to call for a 30% chance of storms. Highs upper 90s to about 101. And there you see Irma approaching the southeast coast of Florida. Here's Sunday. We should start to see the winds aloft turning out of the southwest around here. Drier conditions. I'm still going to go with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures still in the upper 90s to about 101. Irma moving up the Florida east coast. Let's zoom in on this and give you a little bit more of the detail from this run of the GFS. This is 2 a.m. Sunday morning, September the 10th. Got Irma down there southeast of Miami. Paying no attention to the central pressure. The GFS not doing a good job with that. That is obviously erroneous. Nevertheless, hurricane force winds would be in the Miami area, even on this more optimistic run of the GFS with the more easterly track. But if you have to be on a side of a hurricane, you do want to be on the west side. And on this run of the GFS, that's where the east coast of Florida happens to be. Still, hurricane force winds, dangerous conditions for the Miami area down to Key West. Here's 2 p.m. Sunday, and the storm slowly moving up the east coast. Wind, rain, damaging wind, hurricane force winds in excess of 100 miles per hour, gusts 100, 110, 120 would still be possible even in this scenario. Then let's go to 2 a.m. Monday morning. The storm is now east of Orlando at this point. And again, this is the more optimistic view, but anywhere from Melbourne, Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, Orlando, Jacksonville, you would be experiencing hurricane force winds in all probability, even if this verifies. Let's show you the European. This is Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. These are wind gusts. These are the highest wind gusts that you'll experience in a 6-hour period. These are not sustained winds. Again, I remind you, these are wind gusts, but that is just devastating. Wind gusts 110 to 140 miles per hour in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. And even hurricane force winds in the Keys. Heading over toward Fort Myers, you have strong tropical storm force wind gusts, and then even some hurricane force wind gusts possible even out there. Then this is 8 p.m. Sunday night coming off of the European. And again, wind gusts could still be over 100 miles per hour in South Florida. That's off of this run of the European. Let's look further to the north. This is 2 a.m. Monday morning. In the Florida East Coast, Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, Melbourne, Orlando. Wind gusts could be as high as 110 miles per hour. Now, keep in mind, this is not an official forecast. This is one run of the European. But even on the Florida West Coast, strong tropical storm force wind gusts. We've got 50, 60 plus mile per hour winds for Tampa Bay, Sarasota, up to Newport Richey. You're still experiencing some strong tropical storm force winds. Those are not going to destroy well-built or medium-built houses, but they are going to do damage, obviously, to mobile homes. Power poles may come down as a result of those kinds of winds. So damage is still going to be occurring. Power outages will still be possible, even on the west coast of Florida, but you are on the good side of the hurricane. The likelihood of severe weather and tornadoes and all that kind of nonsense, very minimal on the west coast of Florida, on the west side, the negative vorticity side of the hurricane. Let's go to Monday. The storm now making its landfall in the Carolina coast, somewhere between Charleston and Myrtle Beach, more than likely closer to Charleston. And that would be devastating. Now, the storm will be losing some of its punch by that point, and probably not a major hurricane, at least according to the National Hurricane Center, likely to be a Category 2. It could still be a Category 3 when it makes landfall up there. Let's go to Tuesday. The GFS has the storm making a westward turn, and the remnant circulation now somewhere over the Tennessee-Kentucky border. I don't know about that. We would still be dry around here. Temperatures rebounding into the 101 to 105 bracket. Let's go out to Wednesday. Still hot, dry, 101 to 105 with mostly sunny skies. Maybe an isolated storm on the border, off into New Mexico and Colorado. Let's go to a week from today. This is Thursday, the 14th of September. Shortwave troughing setting in. Temperatures might start to back off. Dry conditions with southwesterly flow. Highs 100 to 103. Here's Friday the 15th. And this is the low confidence scenario, obviously. But looking like troughing may be setting in. And here's the end of the forecast period. This is Saturday the 16th. If this verifies, temperatures would be cooling off. We might even be below normal. Highs mid and upper 90s with lows down in the 70s. That'd be nice, but this is 10 days out. Let's look at temperatures coming off of the GFS ensemble through the period. Yes, we'll cool it off this weekend, a bit warmer next week, and then temperatures trending down as we go through middle and latter September. Hopefully, starting to wind down this incredibly long, hot summer. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. Thank you as always so much for watching. If you like our videos, be sure to subscribe to us. That way, every time we post a brand new one, you'll get the notifications. Be safe out there. Stay cool. Have a great Thursday.